Assalamu alaikum dear students, how are you? Fine? Good. Now we are going to today discuss the poem The Season of the Plans. It is written by Aga Shahid Ali. He was born in Kashmir and then he lived in in America, and he was born in 1949 and he died in 2001. Let's first of all know something about Aga Shahid. Born in Srinagar, Aga Shahid Ali, son of famous educationist Dr. Aga Ashraf Ali, was educated at the University of Kashmir and in Delhi before going to the US for a PhD and a career as a poet and teacher. He was a teacher at the University of Massachusetts, Amherst in America. He was a professor of poetry there, and he was a poet also. Aga Shahid Ali was perhaps one of the most loved poets of his time. Most of his poems are not abstract thoughts. You see, usually what poets do, they write abstract, but using those devices which make it concrete. But Aga Shahid is writing mostly, he is writing concrete descriptions of events of personal and political importance. He had an intense interest, this is very important, in geography, and he often blended, that is mixed, the landscapes of America with those of his native Kashmir. So when you read his poetry, you have a connection between between America, and he is writing about Kashmir in America. His poetic works include Call Me Ismail Tonight, a book of ghazals, 2003. He actually introduced the concept of ghazals in English poetry. Rooms Are Never Finished, 2001. The Country Without a Post Office, 1997. And The Beloved Witness, selected poem, is 1992. He is also the author of T.S. Eliot as editor, 1986, and has translated the Rebels Silhouette, selected poems by Faiz Ahmad Faiz, 1992. Now let's go to the poem, The Season of the Plans. Before I read the poem to you, let me tell you one thing. Is there in pre-reading here, in your book, page number 116, 12th chapter, it is written here, what are the man seasons in our country? So we have what is in Urdu called Hindi Patajad, Basant, Bahar, Sawan, but all the seasons is similar all over the country? No, because in Kashmir we have we have spring, then we have summer, then we have autumn, and we have winter. In outside we don't have winter like that, snow falling. Now listen to the poem, and I'll read it aloud for you. Go to page number 116. In Kashmir, where the year has 4 clear seasons, my mother spoke of her childhood in the plains of Lucknow, and of that season in itself, the monsoon, when Krishna's flute is heard on the shores of the Yamuna. She played old records of the Banaras Tumri singers, Sadeshwari and Rasolin, their voices longing when the clouds gather for that invisible blue god. Separation can't be borne when the rains come. This every lyric says, while children run out into the alleys, soaking their utter summer. Meshes pass between lovers, Heer and Ranja, and others of legends, their love forbidden. Burned incense all night, waiting for answers, my mother hummed Heer's lament, but never told me if she also burned sticks of jessamine that dying kept raising soft necks of ash. I imagined each neck leaning on the humid air. She only said, the monsoons never cross the mountains into Kashmir. Now this poem, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stanzas of 3 lines each. So there are 33 lines in the structure of the poem, you see. And then here this poem, I can first of all tell you that this poem we can call a lyric. So, you know lyric, this lyric comes from the word lyre, it is a Greek word which means a musical instrument. So, when we say musical instrument, it means this kind of poem has to do something with music. So, this poem is also, you know, musical, and lyric is a poem which is personal. So, you will find this poem personal, subjective in nature, and it is short. Usually it is short, it can be sung, so it is a short poem, and you find in lyric use of I. So, you have use of I here, you have my mother kept. So, when there is subjectivity is there, you have use of I, use of my, mine. So, you have this lyric, and you have also in lyric use of the poet making use of emotions and feelings. That means this poem, you know, is full of feelings and emotions, this poem. And then there is a lot of description, you know, about nature. You find natural descriptions. For example, you have here clouds, you have here, you know, Kashmir, he is talking about Kashmir, about seasons. So, you have description of, and a lot of imagination is at work. That means when you read this poem, you will go into imagination. So, you see, the poet lives in America, he was living in America, and he is writing about Kashmir. So, he has to use imagination there, and if you read this today, you have to use your imagination. And one more thing is that what I found is that this poem, you know, is nostalgic in nature. This poem is the poem is talking about nostalgia, his own nostalgia, because he remembers his mother who was already dead. His mother's name was, you know, Sophia Ali. Sophia Ali, his father Aga Ashraf Ali. So, his mother Sophia Ali, fond of Sufi poetry and ghazals. And then there is again within the poem there is Sophia Ali, that is his mother's nostalgia, when she remembers the season in Lucknow, when she lived there, because she was from that place and she was married here in Kashmir. So, when we now let us go to the poetic devices, because in poetry what you do is that you are concerned with not only with what, but you are concerned with how also. That is how the poem has been written. Look at this poem. See, every stanza looking like alike. So, this is you know, the poet constructs a poem. Now, first of all, we find in this poem rhythm. No doubt there is no rhyme. Rhyme is not there, but rhythm is definitely there, because without rhythm, even in free verse, if we call this poem also a free verse poem, because there is no regular rhyme, but rhythm is always there. Rhythm is very much, you know, crucial to poem. That is the internal music which is present in the words of a poem. Then there is alliteration. You know alliteration? When the poet repeats initial consonant sounds. For example, we have here shores, we have my mother. Example of this is my mother, and then we have hummed, hears, lament. So, we have hummed and then hears. So, this can be an example of alliteration. Okay, within a line or within a stanza, if you have initial consonant sounds coming again and again, it should be more than once. And then assonance. Assonance, you know, repetition of vowel sounds, not necessary in the beginning or middle and anywhere. For example, here we have word in repeated so many times, we have of repeated again and again, we have word and repeated again and again. So, we have many words which have been repeated. So, that means these words have the same vowel sound. And then consonants. So, consonants is, you know, a repetition of consonants other than initial, generally at the end, coming at the end. For example, we have here shores, so we have z, records, we have z, singers, we have again z, clouds, we have z, voices, we have z, monsoon, we have no sound at the end, when, we have no sound at the end. So you can find more examples. This is for you actually. What you should do is that the teacher will actually guide you. Then you should read yourself also. Go for, once the teacher reads aloud for you, but then you have to go for silent reading, and then you have to go for discussion. And you can find more examples. If you look at the poem, you will find more examples. And then there is very important thing in this poem. What I found is that there you have this enjambment. You know enjambment? Please write. Okay, take your notebook and pen and write. A line of verse which continues into the following line without a grammatical break. This poem is full of run-on line. We call it run-on line. Let us see the example. For example, look at first line. Where the year has. So year has to go with has. Next line. My mother spoke. So mother ke saath spoke aaya verb. And off. Krishna's flute. Record is off. Their voices. Cloud is gather. Separation can't. Rain is come. Out into. Soaking there. Lover is he Ranja. Night waiting. She also burned. She is subject. Then tricks, sticks off. Then dying kept. Then necks off. Then imagined each. Then only said. Cross the. So we have here what we call as run on line. So this poem is full of run on line. Every line, every single line goes to the next line. This is very important. You can see it here yourself. And then one more thing which is very important, we have allusion here. One is illusion, one is allusion. You know allusion, it's reference. It comes from allude, A-L-L-U-D-E. So you have allude, then you have noun, allusion. Reference. Please write. Poets and writers often make an allusion or a reference to another time, work, person, etc. Historically mostly, in order to help the reader call up relevant associations. I will give you an example. For example, plan ahead. It wasn't raining when Noah built the ark. What does it mean? Here the poet is saying, he wants to allude to the great flood and Noah's building of the ark ahead of the flood to save the species from extinction. So whenever you have such kind of reference in a poem, you have allusion. So in this poem also, we have, the word is here, Krishna's flute. Krishna's flute. So this is an allusion. Then you have again saying invisible blue god. This is again Lord Krishna. Invisible blue god. Invisible blue god. So who is invisible blue god? It's Lord Krishna. And then you have Heer and Ranjha. आपने सुना होगा जैसे लैला मजनू बोलते हैं हम, शीरीन फरहाद, ऐसे हीर रांझा. तो हीर रांझा. So this we can call example of allusion. So this poem has a reference to these historical figures. Then we have in this poem imagery. So imagery is also, very important in poetry. You must know what's imagery. Imagery, has to do something with your feelings and emotions, senses, because poetry appeals to feelings and senses. So the poet uses, images. He uses visual images, smell image, taste image, feel. He uses, this taste, because he has to, what we call as early in the poem, in the beginning I told you, the poet has to concretize abstract ideas. So he has to concretize abstract ideas. So in order to do that, he uses imagery. So in this poem also, we have 4 types of imagery mostly. Number 1, we have visual. Number 2, we have sound. Number 3, we have organic imagery. I will tell you what's organic. And also we have what's called as, we have smell imagery also here. So we have these types of imageries here, images used. For example, if we say clouds, if we say sticks, if we say necks, if we say children, even if we say Kashmir, these are visual type of images. You are from Kashmir actually, so you see Kashmir. And when you say sound, see Krishna's flute, वो कृष्णा के उसमें आपने शक्ल में देखा होगा कि उसके मुंह में होता है वो flute. So that means sound will come there, बांसुरी. Then she played old records. टैप रिकॉर्डर में हुआ करता था वो, आज तो ज्यादातर ये सीडीज होते हैं, उसमें वो टैप रिकॉर्डर में कैसेट लगा के वो रिकॉर्ड्स, पुराने रिकॉर्ड्स सुनते थे, particularly about वो बरसात के गाने. So because he is talking here about a particular season, the season, he is not writing about seasons, he is talking about here the season of the plains. Plains, refer to UP, Punjab, etc., Haryana. So he is talking about the monsoon, which are these days on there. So monsoon, he is talking a particular season. And then we have also here, when he says, the writer poet says, my mother hummed here's lament. That means वो गुनगुनाती थी वो. So that means here we have sound. और यहाँ पर लिख रहा है their voice is longing. Whose voices? The voice of the singers, Thumri, these Banaras and Thumri singers. So they were playing that. And then there is organic imagery, is when it touches your heart. When you for example, it makes you happy, it makes you sad, it makes you nostalgic. So this poem is full of nostalgic feelings. So you will find here, for example, when you say separation can't be born when the rain is come. This is a type of organic imagery. When he says messages pass between lovers, here and Ranja and others of legend is their love forbidden. So you have an organic kind of imagery. And then smell. See, if she also burned sticks of jessamine, or jessamine you can call, and then this is kept raising soft necks of ash, humid air. So you have here smell imageries. Okay, this is very important because in poetry imagery plays a vital role. So this poem is also full of imagery. And then we have personification. Personification, means giving human attributes, human qualities to non-human beings. It can be animal, it can be bird, it can be even a tree, but not human beings. Giving, for example, you have read in daffodils, the daffodils you have read, 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dawns. And again the poet says there, Wordsworth, and beside them the waves beside them danced. The waves beside them danced. So what does he mean danced? That means he makes waves, or he makes the daffodils as dancers. So in this poem we have here when she says also burned sticks of jessamine that dying. So ये अगरबत्ती जो उसके हाथ में है ना, यहाँ पर शक्ल भी दिखाई है, ये इसकी मान नहीं है लेकिन शक्ल बनाई है यहाँ पर. तो अगरबत्ती जब जल रही है तो उसके वो जो उसमें वो नेक्स जैसे बन रहे हैं, उसको लग रहा है कि ये डाइंग हो रहा है एक एक करके. एंड रेजिंग सॉफ्ट नेक्स ऑफ एश. तो व्हाट इज नेक्स? नेक इंसान की होती है, नेक थोड़ी होगी इसकी अगरबत्ती की. ये वो जो कहीं पे बना चाहिए मतलब मुश्क तुझ. तो दैट मीन्स हियर इट इज ही इज पर्सोनिफाइंग हियर दिस. एंड देन वी हैव ऑल्सो हियर in this poem, the poet has made use of pun. Pun, is making a play of words, play on words, a word having different shades of meanings. For example, here we have word clear seasons. Here the poet wants to say that there are 4 distinct seasons in Kashmir. Sometimes we say this water is clear. Sometimes we say clear, suppose he has cleared his account. So we use it in different senses. In the same way we have record here, in the same way we have cross here, we have necks here, we have dying here, we have many words here which have double meanings. The poet has used it, made use of a pun here. And I also find here anaphora. Anaphora means, for example, here we have word clear seasons. Here the poet wants to say that there are 4 distinct seasons in Kashmir. Sometimes we say this water is clear. Sometimes we say clear his account. So we use it in different senses. In the same way we have record here, in the same way we have cross here, we have necks here, we have dying here, we have many words here which have double meanings. The poet has used it, made use of pun here. Anaphora means when the poet starts more than one liners with the same word or with the same phrase or with the same clause. So for example, you have here of the Yamuna, and the next line starts of the Banaras. Many lines start with this word of that, then you say here of ash, you say here of Jessamine, you say of legends, but they are in different stanzas, you know, but here in this stanza they are continuously. So this can be called as this example of anaphora. Now let us go to the, you know, I will give you some simple homework. That is, go to page number 119 of the book. Here it is written, reference to the context. Okay, she played old records of the Banaras Tumri singers, Sadeshwari and Rosaline. Their voice is longing when the clouds gather for that invisible blue god. Now who is she referred to in these lines? Okay, good. Yes, the poetess mother, exactly. Why does she play old records? Because she spent her childhood, you know, in Lucknow, and she used to listen to those songs there when she was a child. Now she is married in Kashmir. She is older. Now she remembers that nostalgic feeling is there, and she remembers those songs. She is fond of them. That's why she plays the records again. What do these words contain? Sorry, what do these records contain? These records contain the, you know, the singing, their songs, the old songs, and also of Sadeshwari and Russell in those Banaras Tumri singers, old songs, and also of the songs of these Banaras Tumri singers. Who is the invisible blue god? I told you just now that invisible blue god, you know, basically is Lord Krishna. Separation cannot be born when the rains come. What kind of separation is the poet talking about in these lines? When, you know, you love somebody and you are separated from him. See, Aga Shahid was actually always longed to see Kashmir again and again because he lived in America. He called it self-exile. Who are the people most affected by the separation? The loved ones who love each other. Why does he say it cannot be born when the rains come? Because it's a season generally when separation cannot be born. What is the connection between the two? You see, he remembers his mother. His mother remembers the olden days in Lucknow, so this kind of separation. And Aga Shahid he lived in America, so he remembered Kashmir, this kind of separation. Does the poet mention the agony of separation any other person later in the poem? Yes, about his mother. Who is the person and how does he'll feel agonized? She remembers the old days which she spent there. And go to page 120, she only said the monsoons never cross in the mountains into Kashmir. Who is she here? Again, poet's mother. Does she feel glad or she sad about the monsoon cross over because she longs to see this monsoon is coming into Kashmir. Why has the poet used the word only? Because if he has got a desire which is not fulfilled. So what does it signify? It signifies his, you know, longing, his desire, his nostalgic feelings. Thank you very much. Enjoy at home, you know, read this poem and have a silent discussion on it. Thank you very much.